like it spooky.
Hey everybody, welcome to the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Jason.
I'm Clint, and I got a story that I really think that Jason's going to appreciate. You ready for this story, Jason?
I'm ready.
All right, good. So I'll try to keep it short. I'm at Creature Feature Weekend, and I'm sitting at my table, and I'm listening to my playlist, and this Kim Dracula song comes on that they did with Korn. I don't know if you guys know who Kim Dracula is. I don't even know if I like Kim Dracula yet. I just kind of like this song. Kim Dracula is kind of like if you were to take Marilyn Manson and he sounds like King Diamond, but he's like new metal, that's Kim Dracula. So I'm playing this song. This vendor walks by, and he goes, oh, I thought you were listening to King Diamond. You're just listening to that Kim Dracula. That's bullshit. And he was all disappointed, you know? And he's like, next time I walk by, I want to hear some King Diamond. And I'm like, oh, okay, buddy, whatever. I'll do whatever I can to make you happy. So a little while later, he walks by, and he happens to notice that I have the Cops Do It by the Book shirt from Halloween 4 up in my rack. And he goes, oh, I love Halloween 4. It's my favorite. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm a Halloween 6 fan myself. And he looks at me and he goes, you just exist to piss everybody off, don't you? And I said, yeah, basically. I can be a little difficult.
Now, do you really like Halloween 6 or you were just fucking around?
No, I do. I mean, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I like how if my choices were Halloween 4 and Halloween 6, I'm going Halloween 6 all day. It's not a joke. It's a lifestyle. So, I mean, yeah, I can be kind of difficult. And you know what else is difficult is choosing from all of these great news stories that popped for this recording. Let's check out the news.
Yeah, it was difficult, but somehow we did it. We got some doozies for you guys. I'm going to talk about one now. You guys won't hear it for a couple weeks, so I'm sure this is going to constantly change. But Mondo was said to be the Mondo poster division was said to be getting phased out by Funko. They had released a thing saying that they were going to kill the poster thing. Then they kind of backtracked on it and said that they're not going to do that. They kind of put some bullshit thing out saying that this is like a great part of the company, all this stuff. But then they fired the art director and creators of the Mondo poster company. So, I mean, they're going to come in and keep the name, but it seems like they're going to kind of change everything. So I follow some of the artists I know we've talked about on here before, but Jason Edmiston, Ghoulish Gary, some of my favorites. I know Jason Edmiston has been very vocal about how pissed off he is about this whole thing. And he let them know, that the artists are loyal to, people that they've worked with a long time. So I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to go on in the future. What's going to happen? Is Mondo going to still be around? Or are they going to have some of the great artists that they have? I'm worried that the ultra limited posters are going to turn into mass produced, posters, which I guess it gives everybody a shot to get a poster, but that's kind of the appeal of Mondo is the exclusivity of trying to get one of those.
Yeah, I saw Gary Poland. I read his post just yesterday or the day before, and he really wasn't lashing out or anything, but he kind of made it known that he'll follow those art directors wherever they go. Like they helped him get his break into the business, and they have a great relationship. Then he posted some pictures of a lot of great artwork that he's done for Mondo, some prints that he still has. So what is this? Is this new management coming in and firing all the old people to start all over? Or?
Yeah. Funko bought them out, and they're coming in and doing it their way.
That's crazy because Funko, remember the news thing about Funko just a month ago where like they unload like a ton of their figures and just toss them in the garbage?
I read that same article, and the way I understood it, Jason, is they're going to do posters. Let's be honest, we are blessed beyond blessed in the horror community with amazing artists from top to bottom. They can find new artists. They may not be as good as these guys, Jason Edmiston and Gary Poland. They will find new artists because people need to work. But it sounds like they're going to take the limited posters and do away with it and make it more like you can order for 24 hours, and then once those 24 hours are up, we'll produce that many posters and that'll be it. We all know Funko. You go in Target, the shelves are overflowing with stuff that's been there for months that nobody's buying. They're taking a ton of it to the trash heap. Somebody said, why don't they donate? There's kids in St. Jude or that don't have toys, why don't they donate it to that? And I gather we dump it, it's a tax write-off. I don't know what they're doing. I think they, like you said, they just bought it for the name. They're going to keep the name. Have they said anything about the records? I haven't heard anything about that.
No, I've just been hearing about the posters.
Half this room I'm sitting in is Mondo posters. They're hard to get. Like you said, you got to be right there, right at 11 o'clock Eastern. There's several days I've sat at work and set my alarm for 2 minutes before 11 to jump on their site and try to get a poster.
That's kind of the fun of it.
I'm all for free markets, but I am totally against like corporate conglomerates, because every time that happens, everything just starts to suck. Hey, maybe there's a positive spin out of this. Maybe it's going to turn into like the Monday Night Wars from 90s wrestling. You know what I mean? Those art directors and Poland and, I'm sorry, Jason, the other guy that you mentioned, what was his name?
Jason Edmiston.
Yeah. Maybe they're all just going to go start their own company, and they're going to have competing artwork companies.
Yeah, I'm all for that too.
Us fans will be the winner.
Yeah, I mean, they can go, if they have the artists on board, they can go start their own company with just a few of those and kind of pull in new ones, and
people will follow them. I'm going to go where the artwork's the best. I mean, affordable. That was another thing about the Mondo stuff. It was getting kind of expensive for a poster. I mean, I know it's limited, but some of their stuff you were better off waiting until after it sold out and then going on eBay and buying it.
Sometimes.
But some of the stuff not. I mean, your Halloween stuff, I collect Return of the Living Dead. Your Halloween stuff, that was not the case. The minute it sold out, there was people putting it on eBay for 2 or 3 times, and that's what it would sell for.
So one more story. This is kind of up Brian's alley here. Arrow has announced a new release coming out. It's a series called Enter the Video Store Empire of Screams, which is Charles Brand's old company. He created that one before Full Moon, and they have a big box set coming out. It's going to contain Dungeon Master, Dolls, Cellar Dweller, Arena, and Robot Jocks. I don't know much about any of these. I've heard about a couple of them, but when I saw this, I knew Brian was probably going to be excited. I'm sure it's going to be in his collection soon.
He looks like the cat who ate the canary right now. The look on his face.
It sounds really cool. They have limited edition packaging, reverse sleeves, double-sided posters for each film, 15 postcard sized art cards. It's kind of cool. An Arrow Video Store membership card. It's kind of fun. Plus an 80-page booklet that comes with that. That's slated for release around June 27th of this year. It looks beautiful. Have you seen pictures of it, Bri?
Yeah, I saw pictures. I saw the box, and I saw all the movies listed. I didn't go very deep into it because I saw it wasn't coming anytime soon, but I was like, oh, man.
It's like $65.
That's not bad.
It doesn't seem horrible. Yeah.
Not when Arrow stuff's usually like $30 for a Blu-ray. I tend to shop with Arrow. I haven't bought anything from them in a long time, but that was the start of my Blu-ray collection, was buying Arrow stuff from England. I'd shop when they have sales.
I could be wrong, but I'm thinking this was a U.S. release. I think that's what I was reading about it. I could be wrong, but yeah, it was going to be an Arrow U.S. release, so should be a region unlocked for us here in the United States, so a lot of other people can enjoy it.
That doesn't matter at my house.
No.
I have an unlocked Blu-ray player, so.
You're fully invested.
Because when I would buy from them, it was cheaper to buy from England and have it shipped here than it was to buy from any company in America. Even with the exchange rate sucking, like the dollar's worth like 50 cents in England, it was still cheaper to buy from them and have it shipped here.
Just got to wait a little bit.
Yeah, the first shipment, I waited like 2 months. It's set in Chicago for like 6 weeks, just waiting to go through customs. I'm like, these motherfuckers are probably opening my movies and watching them and then sealing them back up. What is taking so long? What do you think, Clint?
I think that it's almost like we're in the golden age as memorabilia collectors and stuff, for the horror genre. It just, every time you turn around, Mondo, Arrow, NECA, Ink Mirrors, just kidding. Seriously, local artists that no one's heard of yet that you see at conventions. It's just, looking at everything behind Jason, you guys listening can't see, but we all have these massive collections, and it just does not stop. This has to be the golden age for collectors, and I just hope it keeps going for a long time.
Yeah, it's exciting times. I'm loving it.
Speaking of golden age, one of the news segments that I found was something's happening with Blockbuster Video as the website and social media accounts are turned back on. I came across this article from geektyrant.com, And it says, something has happened with the classic Blockbuster Video brand as the official website and social media accounts have been turned back on. Blockbuster Video is owned by Dish Network, and nothing has ever really happened with it since its demise. But if you go to the website, you get the classic log with a caption that reads, "Please be kind while we rewind, and we are working on rewinding your movie." There's really nothing else to go off of, but it's exciting. Like, what are they? Maybe Blockbuster is going to hop into the streaming world. Who knows?
Hopefully they'll open some more doors, but I don't know if I can see them really doing that. I talked to my wife a lot about it, and I'm like, man, it would be fun to just go to a video store, look around, do that stuff. I'm not sure. I guess at a limited market, they could do it, even if it's just like a sales type thing, not quite a rental, or it'd be cool to see what happens anyway.
I would see a brick and mortar from them being more kind of like an FYE or a Hot Topic or something like that. You know what I mean? Or like a Spencer's Gifts or whatever, where you could go there and buy all this great golden age stuff that we're talking about, as well as movies. The streaming thing, I think it's kind of weird for them to jump into, just because that's almost saturated. There are so many streaming platforms. What are you going to do that's going to set you apart besides the name and that nostalgia feeling of, I'm dealing with Blockbuster,
I think in a large market like a Chicago and New York and LA, big cities, they could do a brick and mortar. We sell movies, we sell merchandise, we do rent movies. I mean, I think in big cities it may work. And it's weird, when this started happening, I got like a thing from Redbox that said, your Redbox is closing. So we have a Redbox. We had one in Walmart and it's gone now. So we only have 2 left in town. We used to have like 8 in the area, within like 10-mile radius. Now we only have 2. And I use Redbox sometimes because, you go to watch something on streaming, it's like $20 to rent it. And then you can watch it in the Redbox for like $2. So I'll hit the Redbox up sometimes. I could see it working in a large market as a brick and mortar with maybe some rentals. Who knows what they would do? It's hard to tell. Maybe they build theaters and show some of the older stuff. No idea. Make it an experience. The last Blockbuster in the United States, now you can like rent it out for the night and stay in it as like Airbnb.
Really?
And get like the experience of, like it's a whole experience. They said they only have like a couple years, like money wise, to last. That'd be fun.
It's like in Washington though, isn't it? Washington State, I think.
Yeah, it's nowhere around us.
Does it have that Blockbuster smell to it?
Oh, I don't know. I would imagine.
You see me walking around sniffing deep breaths in, like, oh, I'm 19 again. Oh, this is great. like the fountain of youth. I tell you what, it was really hard with all the news stories to pick out what to talk about. There's stuff about more George Romero stuff about Resident Evil documentary about his involvement with the Resident Evil film that never came to be. There's some John Waters stuff. There's some Boston Strangler on Hulu stuff. But the other one I'm going to settle on here is, I don't have a lot of experience with this organization, so I can't say, I guess I think they're credible, but I haven't dealt with them. But CPA Authentic Autographs, and it's cpaauthentics.com. They're doing an autograph pre-order thing with Clive Barker, and you can order by May 26th to get a Clive Barker autograph. So yeah, you just go to cpauthentics.com for more details. That's pretty cool, because when the hell is the last time Clive Barker's been at a convention? I don't know. I've never seen him anywhere. So
say a price or anything on it, Clint?
I'm just going off of the advertisement. I have not yet clicked on the site to look at the info.
Yeah, I've ordered through CPA before.
Oh, you have? Okay, good.
I have. Yep. It's a great company because they go and they'll pre-sell stuff, and you can pick pictures. You can send them stuff and they'll take it and have it all signed for you wherever you want it, mail it back to you. There is a pretty good charge for it, but it's kind of a cool thing when it's people that you can't get to or won't have the chance to meet.
Kind of like your Laurie Strode thing, your Jamie Lee Curtis thing that just came up.
Exactly. But that was like through her. But yeah, this is through a company that goes and does it. And actually on the next segment, I'm going to talk about one of these companies and a little hookup I got. Well, not just me. A lot of people got one, but I'm super excited still.
We should just segue into that. Brian probably doesn't have anything good to talk about the news, so we should just segue into that. Go ahead.
Clive Barker's $65, and then they calculate shipping. So, that's, to me, affordable. Yeah, some other cool names. Lynn Shay, that's from Insidious. She's $60.
Yeah, they do a lot of signings with them.
What do you mean I don't have any good news? The mole people are coming back, Clint.
The mole people.
You remember them from your childhood? So Universal remaking the 1956 classic, The Mole People. And I picked this one because I just got that mouse pad that's the Universal Monsters new for work. I just saw Creature from the Black Lagoon and The Wolfman in the last year on the big screen. So I'm kind of becoming the old man of the show, I guess, seeing all these old Universal Monsters movies. I know it's not the same universe, but it could be. I mean, you imagine living in a universe with the Mole People and Dracula and the Wolfman, Frankenstein, the Creature from Black Lagoon. You never leave your fucking house.
I just want to go on record that I'm the only one of us three that put a black and white movie from 1960 on our potential movie cover list. So
anything that I watch in black and white is because they didn't have enough money to make it color. Like, it's so trashy, they couldn't even make it in color. So in the new movie, it says, in the new take, a woman travels to a town veiled in a conspiracy to rescue her grandchildren from their father. To do this, she must fight through hell in the underground tunnels where the mole people reside. Is her dad a mole person? Might be right up my alley. Shit, kids are like half mole, half people.
I haven't seen the original one, so I have no opinion. I have no idea, so yeah.
I don't think I have either. The picture for it's like a guy with gloves and a black t-shirt, plastic mask, climbing out of a hole in the ground. I don't know if you can't see it, but I was like, oh shit.
That's the hard part about remaking movies from that era, is a lot of the charm of those movies was just the limited resources and crappy effects and really experimental film techniques that were emerging from that time that I think is really hard to capture when you remake films like that. But the first one that popped to my mind was The Blob. And when they remade The Blob with in the 90s, I think it was, with like Kevin Dillon and I forget her name, but she was in Saw 2, Shawnee Smith. That was a really good movie. It was a really good remake. So maybe the Mole People will be cool. Maybe it'll be in black and white. That would be awesome.
One that always comes to my mind is The Shape of Water. I know it's not a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon, but it kind of is. And they just went like the whole artsy direction with it. And the film looks beautiful. I remember taking my oldest, Chloe, and Jack to see it when they were kids, and I was like, oh, it'll be fine, it's just Creature from Black Lagoon. And like halfway through the movie, the creature and the lady are like fully naked having sex, and I was like, maybe this is a bad idea.
That reminds me of the movie that we're covering here in a little bit, and I watched it with Boots when it first came out a couple years ago, and then like 10 minutes into the movie I was like, oops. We'll get to that in a minute. I wonder what the budget's going to be for the Mole People. Who's making it? Who's remaking it? Did it say?
I don't know who's remaking it. I mean, it looks, they got one of the writers from The Walking Dead. So, I mean, it looks like they have some names connected to it.
It's obviously got to have some sort of budget then.
Skybound?
Oh, really? I wish we had more of a budget for, our collectibles and just general lives, because no matter what I do, I just remain poor. Brian, quit playing with your dolls. We've got important things to talk about here.
So on this episode of Why Are We So Poor, I do have some pretty sweet pickups. A lot of autographs, a lot of other little things. So we were talking about that CPA Authentics, doing signings with people. There's another company I like, Mintage. They're from up near Chicago. So if I order from them, I seem to get everything quicker. So I kind of like going through them because I want that quick satisfaction of buying it and then having it in my hands shortly after. This was going to be the last thing I talked about, but since we talked about that stuff, I'm going to jump right into this one. We lost George Wilbur at the beginning of February. He played Michael Myers in Halloween 4 and 5. He had retired from doing signings for years. Price of his autographs were, going pretty high because of the demand. Everybody wanted them and just weren't able to get them. I didn't know this. Nobody really knew this. And Mintage and CPA both did private signings with George Wilbur shortly before he died. They didn't expect him to die, so they thought they would have time to get him, put him out. But then I think they handled it well because Mintage went on a live stream and they're like, okay, we don't want to seem like we're making money off this guy's passing, but we had done the signing. We had the stuff ready. So we're going to release it. It's not going to be crazy expensive. It was kind of expensive, but not what eBay prices were. So I was able to pick up a George Wilbur autographed picture, which I thought I would never have in my collection. So I got an autographed 8x10. It's pretty sweet. His signature has suffered over the years, kind of like Tim Curry. I guess he was pretty frail at the end, and his signature was still recognizable, though. So it was kind of cool. I was able to pick up an 8x10, but it was cool. They had Funko Pops, knives. It was pretty limited. They only had about, I want to say like 50 pieces or so, which isn't a lot. I definitely wanted to get myself an 8x10. So I picked up an 8x10. I already took pictures of it, so I'm going to have to share it here. I'll send you guys pictures, show you what it looks like, but that's pretty sweet.
Hell, I've seen some young able-bodied signatures that you're like, what the hell is that? Chicken scratch.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that was it. When I was going through and picking the autographs, they would take a picture of each one and post it. As soon as it's gone, it's gone. So you don't have much time to like sit there and look and like verify the autographs and see which one looks better than others. I think I did a pretty good job. I was able to get a cool picture I got the picture of him. It was in, oh shit, I'm having a brain fart now, but the one where he stabs the nurse in the little tunnel to the wall.
That's part 6.
Yeah. So he was part 6 also. Or was he only part 6? I should act like a real Halloween fan and know what I'm talking about, but
well, you have like autographs from everybody top to bottom in the entire franchise. It's no wonder that you kind of forget sometimes what's going on.
Only 42 people have played Michael Myers in the franchise history.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of, I also got J.C. Bandy, who played Trust me, guys, I'm a Halloween fan, okay? She played, what was Danielle Harris's character? The little girl, Jamie Lloyd. Jesus. The girl who played Jamie Lloyd in part 6, the one that had the baby with the whole Cult of Thorn thing, and then Michael ended up catching up to her.
Back to part 6. I'm telling you, it's like the best of the series.
So I guess Bambox had released her autograph a long time ago. It doesn't sell a lot, but I was able to get a good deal on one. So I finally picked one of those up. Going along the same theme, I finally got myself a Charles Cypher's autograph. I got one through Days of the Dead web store. They were having a sale. They had some signatures from him. Clint was going to pick one up for me at a convention he went to last fall, but Charles Cypher's unfortunately got sick and had to cancel.
Yeah, and I was bummed because he was at a convention the weekend prior that I was at also, and I just didn't get over to see him. I remember.
You were like, oh, next week I could do it. I got this. But yeah, it happens. But I was able to pick one up, so I'm excited for that. And it was the scene where Dr. Loomis runs up to him outside the door that got broken into, and they're having their little dialogue. So it's cool. It has Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis, and Charles Cypher, Sheriff Brackett, talking about stuff. So I picked up that autograph. My walls are filling up with autographs even more. A couple more quick things. I've had the Horror Hound subscription, but I guess it had ended or something. I didn't renew it. So I finally picked up issue 95 and 96, the one with Dead Alive and the new one with Nosferatu. I love Horror Hound magazine. It's a great magazine, one of my favorites right now. And then last but not least, Waxwork Records released Chopping Mall. They finally reissued that after years. I have the original Chopping Mall release that they had done, like it's on like a translucent pink, but this one's like a red / pink with splatter on it. I picked up a couple of those. I got one for Brian, one for me. We saved on shipping by going in on it together. So finally got Chopping Mall. I love that soundtrack.
Never heard of it.
So I was looking while you were talking, and yeah, George Wilbur played Michael in part 6. It was Don Shanks who played in part I think 4 and 5. So.
Thank you. I knew when I said it, I was like, okay, I think I'm off here. Yep. Thanks for correcting me there and showing that I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about Halloween.
And neither do I. I had to look it up. So
I'm going to be laughed at in the community now forever. But yeah, that's my haul that took half the show to talk to you about. So it was quite a haul. I missed last episode because I was sick with you guys, so I didn't get to talk about stuff. I think I taken up plenty of time now. That's it. What do you guys got?
Go ahead, Brian. I'm going down this rabbit hole of who played Michael Myers in which movie.
42 actors later, Clint's at the end of the list.
I went to part 4 and it says Tom Morga, which I knew that, but that's just the bandaged one. I'm like, so who?
So this episode will come out the week before we go to Motor City Legacy. So Motor City Legacy is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to drop this sometime that week, maybe even on my birthday, which is April 13th. I can send you my Venmo information if you want to give me some money to spend at at the show. I did order a Trick or Treat poster. Should be here tomorrow. Finley, my 4-year-old, loves Sam. Little girl from the bus episode, or whatever you call it, she's going to be there. And then another actor that's in the movie is going to be there. So I'm going to start kind of building the Trick or Treat poster for Finley as she gets older. You know, we'll see Quinn Lord again. We'll see some of the other actors, hopefully from the movie, start popping up at conventions. And then I got a Tar-Man wrestling buddy from Return of the Living Dead. So I ordered this on Amazon, and this is the limited edition one that only 100 were made. I ordered the regular one. They sent me this one.
If that's limited edition, then what the hell is it doing out of its box?
Well, it was just in a box. It wasn't like in any wrapping or anything.
Have I taught you anything? Jesus.
So I got Tar-Man. And let me tell you something, brother. I got the greatest tag team partner ever. We're forming the Mega Powers. Freddy. So I got the zombie Freddy, and on the other side, he's a regular Freddy. Clint gets that reference, don't you, Clint?
Oh, yeah.
I think my eardrums are bleeding right now.
So he's Freddy on one side and zombie Freddy with his eyes burned out on the other side. I mean, they're pretty cool. They were $20 each. I think they were originally like 40. Kind of trying to clear out some stuff, some posters, and
I gotta hop in here. So this is the second time I've seen Brian play with these things. If you guys get a chance, I know this is a shameless plug. If you're listening, go over to our YouTube channel, watch Brian's video where he plays with these. It's just a lot of fun watching. This little kid comes out from inside of him, and he's just wrestling them around and playing, and it's great.
well, I don't know. I think that's about all I got. I was trying to figure. I got a new chainsaw. I mean, that's kind of horror related.
Well, depends what you do with it.
I'm just gonna cut down a tree.
Winky, winky.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, I didn't have a record shipment or a movie shipment. I got a new mouse pad.
Are those Return of the Living Dead buddies going to go up there with Joe, Bob, and Darcy behind you?
No, they go over on the other shelf. I got this.
An I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast mousepad. All I can envision is when we're done recording and the camera gets turned off here, Brian's going to go set Joe Bob and the Darcy doll up like they're making out. And then like Freddy and the Tar-Man are going to come in and like eat them or something.
No, we're doing WrestleMania. The Mega Powers versus the Giant. I don't remember who Andre the Giant's tag team partner was from that time period. Do you?
Andre the Giant didn't need a tag team partner.
Well, no, but he had one, though, because that's who the Mega Powers were fighting, for Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, wow. So I know he was up with Bobby Heenan then and the $1 Million Man, maybe. Okay, so we're getting way off track here. Speaking of $1 Million Man, that's not me, but I feel like I spent $1 million. What do we got here? So I talked about this last episode. I tried to order the 5-inch Terrifier figure from Trick or Treat Studios, which some people are starting to get, but it's still on like a pre-order basis. And I was having problems with their site, so I wasn't able to order it. I sent them a message. They said that they've been kind of moving things over to a different website, which I think now is the move is official. So I wasn't even complaining or asking for a handout. I was just saying, hey, I'm trying to do this and I can't. Can you help me? And they threw me a 10% off, which was kind of nice. So, cause I was able to get that ordered. And that Terrifier figure, if you listen, I think it was the last episode I was talking about. It's like the old school toys where you can spray them with water and get it cold. And then like red spots of blood will show up on the figure, which is pretty awesome. And it's only like $20, plus shipping. I was able to actually get one of those ordered. And then I was recently at Creature Feature Weekend, first time, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, had a blast. And I spent some money there because I met Tim Balm, who played Lionel in Dead Alive. One of the big draws for me to go there was Tim was going to have 100 of these 3D printed lawnmower blades. There was only going to be 100 of them. They said Dead Alive on there. They were detailed. He was going to autograph them. And I'm like, only 100. I have to get one. They had problems with shipping. They weren't there in time for the convention. And so a lot of people, including you guys, Brian, Jason, I was talking to you, you both said the same thing. Everybody's like, well, let's just go to Home Depot and buy a lawnmower blade and have them sign that. But I happened to have with me number 48 of 50 of a Distinctive Dummies Dead Alive toy that has Baby Selwyn and has Lionel, Tim Balm, in the dual box there. So I took that to him. I go up, I meet Tim, nice guy. I show him this. I say, hey, would you sign this for me? And he just looks at me. He says, where the hell did you get this? And I says, I found it on eBay, I think, a while back. And I fell in love with it. He's like, I've never, ever seen this. You're a lucky man to have it. And he signed it for me. And then after us talking for a minute and I walk away from the table, I'm like, wait a minute. So if there's only 50 of these made, he's never seen it. He's only done like 3 conventions. I've got to be like the only person in the world with that limited edition toy signed by him. So I came home and like John Wick, I dug up a big hole in my basement floor and buried it and covered it in cement. So that way no one will ever take it. I know that Jason's coming up here to my house soon. I don't want him fucking with it. It's hidden. No, I'm just kidding. It's on display. And then, so when I met him, he also had, of course, some a handful of, stills from the movie and everything. I got one autographed for Jason, and I got one autographed for our friend Ted from Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium. And then I posted it. I think Ted must have thought I was joking or something, because I went over to Ted's house here earlier this week to drop some decals off that I made for him on our way to Weirdsville Records in Mount Clemens, Detroit. And I got all this stuff in this envelope, and here's this sticker, here's the sticker. There was some cash for a gumball machine he did for the ex-girlfriend. I go, here's this. And he's like, oh my God. It was the autograph still from Tin Ball. And he's like, I didn't, what? I was like, I showed you a picture saying that I got it. I just thought it was yours, I'm like, nope. So he was pretty excited about that. Also at Creature Feature Weekend, I went ahead and met, what is it about Halloween? The actor's name is eluding me right now, Jason. What's going on? The guy who played young Michael Myers in the original Halloween was there.
Will Sandon.
Yeah, thank you. And I had him sign my Evo, which has young and old Michael action figures. What else have we spent money on? I didn't do this, but so NECA's Haulathon is still going on, and it's like part 2, I think, or whatever. I didn't hop on the first part to get the Herman standalone Munster NECA figure, which I want, and now I can't find it. Part 2 of Haulathon just came out, and you can get Daniel Roebuck's grandpa Munster, or the Count as he is in that movie. So I ran to my Target because we just happened to be right by there, my local Target, and it was not there yet. You can order it online though, if you want. It's like $36, I think, plus shipping. So, but I've also been wanting to get the NECA Frankenstein accessory pack, and I just haven't hopped on it. I need to before I can't find it anywhere. But as we're in Target and I'm looking for the Count and I couldn't find it, and I go, oh, they had one of the Frank accessory packs, and I pull it out and I'm like, holy shit, here we go. And it's the only one. And in the corner, there was this big rip in the box. And I was just like, no, drop to my knees, dramatic movie moment, look up to the sky. No. So I put it back. I didn't get it. But another place where I did spend some money this go around, we're on spring break. Kids and I didn't go anywhere. So we did make a day trip to Detroit, went to Weirdsville Records. First time ever going there. The store is phenomenal. The people are cool. They have books. They have records. They have, Brian, stop playing with your dolls and listen. He's playing with his, put the damn dolls away. They've got toys. They've got all kinds of cool stuff. The kids both got a few records. I picked up, and Jason, I opened this so I could listen to it.
Oh.
Yeah. This is a lot of fun, and I got this on purpose. I found they had a couple Goblin vinyls there. And this one is Squadra Anti-Gangsters. And the reason I got this is because they typically do a lot of more horror-based synth, kind of music, orchestrated music. But this is that like late 70s, early 80s kind of just like urban car chase scene and Death Wish type music, And I was like, I love that stuff. I love that era. This album is a lot of fun. It's everything I thought it would be. The kids come down like, what the hell are you listening to? And I was like, enjoy it. That was pretty cool. The record's like this bright yellow. I also, when I was paying for everything, came across this CD sitting on the counter. It's called The Casket Bastards. And it's just a CD, and it's got some cool artwork and everything. And I'm talking with the owner of the store, and he goes, yeah, it's only $10. Does that guy look familiar? And I'm looking, and this guy here is the owner of the record store, and he's like the singer of the band. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So Casket Bastards, I don't know if they're on YouTube or not, but if you are into just that kind of 60s wet sound, that garage rock kind of monster, rat rod, Dragula type stuff, this is a lot of fun. From Detroit, Michigan. Pretty sure Weirdsville Records ships. If you're interested, check it out. You can probably order this and they'll ship it to you. I paid $10 for the CD.
Did he autograph it for you?
He didn't. I should have asked him when I left. He's a cool guy. I'm going to see him again because I'll be going back. There was, I almost got for the ex-girlfriend, and I don't know why I didn't, Waxworks, The Bride of Frankenstein. Maybe it's not a duel, but it's the soundtrack to the movie Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein, she's going to be at Motor City Nightmares.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, if you've listened before, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go back and grab that because it's sold out. I got home and I should have picked it up for her. And she's a huge Bride fan, and it's like sold out everywhere online. So I'm going to head back and grab. And plus, I just want to go back. That place was cool. There was a lot of great stuff I wanted to buy.
So let me ask you, what color was the record?
Which one?
The Bride of Frankenstein.
I don't know because, I hadn't bought it, so it was sealed up. I couldn't open it. If you look online, I think it's white. I'm pretty sure. And then it's got like a picture of the Bride of Frankenstein on there. Hold on.
Right. Well, there's two different releases. If it's the black and white one, I have to have it.
Oh, really?
So don't go back before 2 weeks. And then there's another one that's a beautiful, like translucent purplish record. Beautiful.
I wouldn't know because it's all sealed up.
I think it'll say on the label. If it's the black and white one, like if it says on the hype sticker, I understand if you buy it ahead of me, but I really would love to get that one. And now I don't know where my hype sticker is. I wonder if I threw it in the case, like if it would say on it. I keep all my packaging. I know Clint's totally against opening stuff. I'll open it, but I'll keep all my hype stickers and stuff.
Yeah, I kept the sticker for this Goblin album.
Yeah, I'm super nervous because now I don't see my hype sticker for this record. So
should have kept it sealed. Cold of Clint.
Oh my God. I'm totally hating life right now here. Did it have a hype sticker on the...
I honestly don't remember. I asked Ted from Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium. How many plugs can we give Ted? I don't know. But he lives about an hour. He lives about an hour away from there. And he was like, oh, this place looks pretty cool. I said, if you go, there's a couple things I wanted. Maybe you can grab it for me. So if he goes, I'll be going back. It's almost 2 hours away from me. And so it's not like something I'm going to, go do every day.
Yeah. While we're up there, there's another stop I wanted to make.
Well, I already planned on the way back. Probably Saturday would be the best day because we get out a little earlier. I'll drive you by the big house. We'll be passing through Ann Arbor on the way home. I figure
you do?
Get out and get your... Well, it's a little off the beaten path, but not far. So I figure you get out and get your picture taken there. Brian can bring his dolls and, play with his dolls like they're playing football or something in the background. I don't know.
Yeah, Jason's going to get out and take a picture. I'm going to get out and spit on the ground.
And then I'm going to punch you.
Wow. Violence outside of the big house. But yeah, so Jason, just as you're as upset about not being able to find your hype sticker, I was kind of financially upset when I left Weirdsville Records because the kids really hit me. Well, the oldest really hit me. She got like 6-7 records. We didn't do anything for spring break, so I was like, guys, go get whatever the hell you want. I'm really poor, and I really think that we should take it to a sponsor so we can get some more money because I could use some.
You know who Andre the Giant's tag team partner was? $1 Million Man. And you know what he says, Clint?
Everybody's got a price. You like blood? You like scary stuff? You like gumballs? Well, get on over to Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium, where their selection of horror and pop culture themed toy, candy, and gumball machines are as big as their name. You can find Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium on Facebook and Instagram. Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium will be on hand at Motor City Legacy in Detroit, Michigan, April 14th through the 16th. Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium will also be featured at other horror and pop culture conventions around the country. Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium. We dare you to say it 10 times real fast.
So now that we've heard from our sponsor, let's talk about the movie. The 2020 Shudder exclusive horror. This is a comedy. There's a lot of funny parts of this movie. Comedy, Psycho Goreman.
A nameless evil, once buried forever. Now he's awake and he's ready for terror. But hold up, wait, there's a catch. This kid Mimi has a plan to hatch. With the magic gem, she has the power. The monster's her friend, it's her finest hour. They'll go on adventures, cause all kinds of trouble. Blow up the world and dance on the rubble. First he needs a name, something cool, it can't be lame. That's when it struck her, so cool and so mean. The monster will be named PG.
What'd you guys think?
Don't worry, I did the research, so it's okay. I've got a list of notes. Hey, so listen, before we hop into Psycho Goreman, I got to touch on one thing real quick, okay? We were originally going to discuss Scream 6, and it kind of got away from us, and now we're doing Psycho Goreman, which is great. But there's one thing I wanted to ask you guys about Scream 6, okay? It was like the most important thing of the movie to me. Did you guys catch the murder party costume in the beginning of Scream 6?
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie. I was like, what?
There's murder party, and the girls are looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about?
What's Murder Party?
You haven't seen Murder Party?
I don't think so.
So I came across Murder Party. I can't remember how I came across it. And it was shortly before Halloween-a-Palooza last year. And I was like, oh, this looks like fun. I'm going to have to watch this. And then it was like a day or two before I left to come to Iowa where my truck broke down. And that's why I'll never drive in Iowa ever again. Brian had, because you guys had movies and your own memorabilia and stuff out for sale on your table, and Brian had Murder Party for like $1, and I'm like, oh shit, I just saw that, and so I bought it off him when I watched it, and it was a great movie. And it's an indie flick, you know what I mean? I don't know what its distribution was. It probably went straight to streaming or whatever, and I don't know if it got a theatrical release, and but it was a great movie. So in the beginning of Scream 6, they're at a Halloween party there, and the one character, I think it was the twin brother, wasn't it, who always gets like murdered at the end of the movie but comes back. He had on the costume that the main character in Murder Party.
I just pulled up a picture. I see what you're talking about. But yeah, it didn't stand out to me, so I don't know.
The little helmet and the cardboard helmet and stuff. Watch Murder Party. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
Okay, since we're not going to talk about that, I want to bring up one thing also. So you know the opening scene with Samara Weaving? When they're on the subway and everybody's dressed in the costumes, there was somebody in a wedding dress with like a bullet belt around them, like her in Ready or Not. Have you seen Ready or Not?
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that one.
I thought that was kind of a cool little part too, that, you know, her movie, then she's in this one for a little bit. It was just kind of represented there. It was interesting.
No, that's fun. There's so many little things in that movie. It's almost worth a second watch just for that, to catch all those things. So you watch Murder Party, I'll watch Ready or Not, and then we'll segue into Psycho Goreman, because Psycho Goreman is a fun-ass movie, and so is Murder Party, and so is all the little Easter eggs and Scream. So Brian, tell us a little bit about Psycho Goreman.
I'll just give you my synopsis for Psycho Goreman. This sister, who's a pain in the ass, and brother, they're playing Crazy Ball, which I don't know the fucking rules. I don't know that anybody does know the rules to Crazy Ball. And the loser has to be buried underground alive. So the brother loses, and he's got to dig a hole. This kid's like a fucking professional hole digger. He digs this huge ass. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's only 9:00 at night when he's done. I'm like, what the fuck?
He's got a bright future as a gravedigger for sure.
So they dig this hole and they unearth this evil entity that's trapped. It was put on Earth. It's trapped in this contraption. And she does like this eeny, meeny, miny, mo, opens it up, grabs a jewel. They go to bed. Well, it unleashes this creature, this being that is the ender of all worlds, like Thanos maybe from the Marvel universe. But because she has the jewel, she controls him, and the fun ensues.
Yeah, the thing he was encapsulated in with the purple jewel there, it was almost like this like ancient Simon Says handheld game or something. And then she just randomly hits this button code that happened to be the series of notes that were needed to open it and unleash it.
And this was a first-time watch for Jason. Clint and I have seen this movie. What do you think, Jason?
I have been purposely ignoring this movie just because of what I've seen. Is like, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch this. I don't know why. I feel like an idiot now for being like that for so long. And there's a couple movies that are like that. So I went into this movie. I've talked about like my mood when I go into movies. And I started this movie and I wanted so badly to hate this. I am picking it apart. I'm like, why the fuck are they digging a hole? How are they what are they doing? Like, you know, I was picking apart everything. And then I'm sitting there watching it and I start laughing. And then there's more scenes where I start laughing.
How do you not?
Yeah, then like half an hour into it, I'm like, damn it. I'm like, this movie's still cheesy, but it's pretty good. So yeah, that was my note. I was like, this is a movie I want to hate, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers feel from all the characters in it. I wasn't a Power Ranger fan, but I've seen like the characters and stuff, and it was a fun watch.
I've seen it before. I enjoyed the hell out of it. For whatever reason, I was kind of like you, Jason. I just did not want to sit down and watch it last night. And I couldn't tell you why, other than for the past few days, I've had a lot going on in the Ink Mirror shop, and I've been very regimented with my time. And I'm like, damn it, I don't want to take the time to watch this movie. Obviously, I did. Same thing. Like 10 minutes into it, I was like laughing. And I don't laugh a lot at movies. I'm not a big comedy fan. So for me to laugh out loud uncontrollably on a rewatch, and then I was like, why didn't I want to watch this? This movie is so much fucking fun. I'm glad I'm doing this. But I was reminded shortly into it. So I came across this movie. I was just doing some random searches, maybe a year or two ago, whatever it came out. And I came across this. I came across Spaghetti Man, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. That's a great movie. It's on Prime. Spaghetti Man. Watch it. You'll love it. It's not a horror. It's a comedy / superhero, but it's in the same vein of Psycho Goreman, minus the Power Rangers. But there were these fun movies like that were popping up, and Boots was just on that cusp of, okay, you can watch whatever the hell you want to watch. And I came across Psycho Goreman, and I just saw the trailer, and I was like, this looks like fun. It looks something right up her alley. She's into anime. I kind of had that feel. So we put it on. Again, like 20 minutes into it, one of the first lines is, suck my dick, asshole. They get to the Psycho Goreman comes up, and then he walks away and he kills the bad guys in the abandoned shoe factory, and they're sitting there, suck my dick, asshole. And I'm going, the first watch, and Boots is there, and I've got my head in my hands like, oh God, no, what did they get us into? This movie is filled with a lot of wit, sharp writing, nonstop action. It doesn't lag. But if you do want to watch it with your younger children, it does have a lot of gore. There is some, I don't want to say quite a bit, but there is some pretty foul language. So,
my biggest laugh came when they brought that the friend to meet Psycho Goreman for the first time. As they're leaving, he's like, "Nice to meet you," and Psycho Goreman's sitting there.
It would be nicer if you were dead.
Yeah, I wish you would die or something. I laughed super hard at that part, and
the kid just goes, "Oh, okay."
My daughter's sitting there with me, and she enjoyed it too. I mean, it was a fun watch for both of us.
That was Mimi's friend, and they're gonna get married, but they're not in love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The comedy in the dialogue and the writing came even before that, and that's when they were digging that hole, and her brother Luke says to her, "Maybe this is where they buried Grandma." And she's like, "No, it's not." And then she's later on, they're talking about it. And she was like, "It's not Grandma. Grandma's in hell forever." And it was just what.
You remember though, they weren't talking; they were like knocking on the wall.
Yeah, they had this like Morse code.
And then at the end of their discussion, or like they're in the middle of talking, knocking, and the mom starts knocking. Go to bed, like knocking on the wall.
I think of the delivery too from everybody, all the actors involved in this film. Their delivery helped make this really sharp, witty dialogue come to life because it was unapologetic. It was just very matter of fact. And I think I love dry humor, and I think the delivery was just so dry and normal to them that it made it even funnier.
How about when the dad's going to dig the hole and he does like one scoop of dirt and he's like, ow, my hand. Oh, I can't move it. I got to go to the hospital. Oh, and the mom like walks him inside.
Yeah. And on that scene, when we're sitting there watching it, the dad's like, all right, when you guys have to fill this in? And they all vote, no, Dad, you have to do it. And I'm like, well, that sounds familiar in this house.
Yeah.
Like, all the physical stuff. Like, oh yeah, that's...
So much for democracy. I kind of felt like a little, and I don't even know if they did it on purpose, but like a little political undertone of like, or even religious undertone. Like as you get into the movie, Psycho Goreman can't do anything wrong or evil because this girl has control of him. But then you find out about the Templars and there's these people hunting him because he's this horrible person. But then they're horrible too. Like you hear him tell his story. We're jumping forward a ways, but you hear him tell his story, and I'm like, I'm getting like a weird political or religious undertone about the movie. Did you guys get that?
I don't know really about, I know what you're saying. I don't know if I'd categorize it as political or religious, but I mean, I can't think of the correct words to use, but I get what you're saying is it had a fantastic backstory, just hierarchies in civilization and who controlled who. And I think that's what you're getting at. Maybe we're just saying the same thing, but in a different language. Yeah, it had a great backstory. As far as like, modern like religious references, I think the only scene that if you are spiritual or a Christian or a believer in God or Catholic or whatever, there's the scene towards the end where Mimi prays to this, crucifix on the wall, basically tells God to kiss off. And then she says, by the way, you don't tell me what to do. No one does. And she breaks the crucifix over her knee and tosses it to the side. And you're just kind of like, wow, okay, there's a statement message.
Well, do you remember when he's telling a story about how he got his powers? He's talking about the Templars came to his planet, enslaved all the people to build these churches for them. And then he found the gem and he went on this murderous rampage where he's just going from world to world to world, killing people. And then he had to be stopped.
Which is great.
So it was like, who's evil here?
Right.
Yeah, like which one's the bad guy?
Well, Mimi even says at the end, she goes, when Psycho Goreman fights the lead Templar, Mimi's like, okay, it's the battle between evil and worse evil. But no, I know what you're talking about. So that backstory was very, you're dealing with like authoritarians who, enslaved and controlled, but gave this image that they're there for your betterment. But in all reality, they were just enslaving everybody, which is really cool because then Psycho Goreman actually becomes kind of like the anti-hero, like the Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, he's bad, but you root for him. He is the lesser of the evils.
Yeah, I loved a lot of the special effects in this were great, where he, the guy says, I don't want to die. So he's like, live forever. And the guy's just kind of melted and his eyes are spinning. And then the kids come to visit him and Luke knocks him over and he falls down, his head explodes and you see his mouth like, thank you. And Psycho Goreman's pissed. He's like, he was my masterpiece. But a lot of fun, like special effects too in this movie.
You could tell that a lot of the budget was spent. I mean, between the digital effects, the practical effects, you had stop motion animation, you had use of models a lot more when they were kind of backstorying into space, tons of creature costume suits. So on the Internet Movie Database, it said that this averaged or was estimated at a $1.5 million budget. And what's crazy is it's got a U.S.-Canada gross of only $95,182, and the worldwide was $95,384. I don't understand how that works, if that's maybe based off like a limited theatrical release, maybe those numbers. It's insane to me that this movie took 1.5 to make, which actually, based off everything they accomplished with the effects, the inventiveness of it, is amazing that it wasn't triple that. And then to only make a couple $100,000 is weird.
It was a Shudder exclusive, though, wasn't it?
They picked up the rights and streamed it.
Yeah, so they had that. And so, I mean, maybe that's just to help sell subscriptions also. And
it was almost maybe, what did I say? It's from 2020. So was Terrifier out yet in 2020? I don't remember when the original Terrifier came out.
That was years before that, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure, yeah.
You and I've talked about this, Clinton. John Eisberg talked about it on the last episode. There's so much that goes into the marketing of these movies, the marketing, that maybe it just didn't hit right. Like it had a pretty good cult following from what I remember. I mean, when it was going on to Shudder, people were like, oh, I can't wait to see this movie. I've heard so much about it. I think it did the film circuit, like the film festival circuit. Maybe it was just a marketing thing that the people that had their hands on it didn't do the due diligence.
I don't think it was correctly marketed here in the States. This was a Canadian film made in Canada. Of course, in Canada, they had at some restaurants there's like a McDonald's type chain. I forget the name of the restaurant in Canada. And they had Psycho Goreman Happy Meals. My God, I've been trying to find one. So, because one of the reasons that we decided to cover this movie is we're all going to Motor City Legacy in Detroit, April 14th, 15th, and 16th. Ding. And Mimi, the girl, the guy who played Psycho Goreman, and the director, correct, are all going to be there. This is like the guy who played Psycho Goreman inside the creature outfit. This is his first convention appearance ever. And for the other two, this is, they've got some other conventions they're going to be at, but they haven't been to many.
It's her first U.S. appearance. She's made some appearances in Canada, I believe.
So, again, I don't think it was ever really marketed correctly here. It's just now taken off. Man, I wish I could get that Happy Meal so they could sign it for me.
I'm looking at eBay. They do have some cool like action figures and Blu-ray set.
Poster's pretty nice looking. I mean, the poster's simple, but, at the same time, the colors make it beautiful, and it would probably carry a lot of autographs well. There's enough space around him standing there that you could autograph it up.
Our friend Josh from Bootleg as Fuck Toys is going to be at Motor City Legacy, and I was talking with him the other day. Tentatively is going to have some Psycho Goreman merchandise on hand. I don't want to say much more because I didn't ask if I could say anything, and I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off in time. He should be.
You were talking about the budget of the movie. I thought the budget of the movie all went into the music video they did.
Well, I'm sure that ate up a lot of it too.
I mean, how do you get a big brain to play the synthesized piano? That probably takes a lot of money, right? Then you got to get Psycho Goreman drum lessons and write the song.
Copyright the song. Frig you and frig off.
That's one thing I was picking apart about the movie, too, when he turns the little boy into a brain. And I'm like, oh, this is okay now. We're just turning, little boys into stuff. And then the other kid, when they're going through town, some kid yells at him or something, and he, makes him explode.
Hey, asshole! Nice Halloween costume!
Yeah, then he's done for. Then the cops show up and he, melts one of the cops. That was a hilarious scene too.
That's when I couldn't stop laughing about fell off the couch. Boots was gonna watch this with me again, but she had some reading to do. So she when she heard me laugh and she came in and then she stood there at the edge of the couch and watched the rest of the movie. Hilarious. That guy is so funny. And he passes off the heart note. He's like, please kill me. And then he realizes his gun's melted to his hand and he's just staggering around. He tries to shoot himself in the head.
That caught me off guard the first time. I was like, I thought there was no bullets left in the gun. And he just randomly shoots.
Never has attempted suicide been so fucking hilarious.
He gives her the note and she's like, what the fuck is this? I said love notes.
I love when his partner too was like, hey, throw me the keys. And it's like,
yeah, it was weird that just this guy that looks nothing like a human is walking around town. They go to the ice cream shop. They go eat at a loose meat sandwich place. That was funny too. When they're eating and he breaks the plate and shoves it all in his mouth. And Luke is like, what? Asks him a question. He's like, being consumed is considered a warrior's death. And he starts telling a story. And she's like, no, six hours for baking cakes. That's better. And he
She didn't give two shits what he was saying. He just kind of looks at her like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, the only other comment I have typed out is about the little girl. I was like, I hate this little girl. I hope she dies miserably. She was so evil and
I saw someone comment on, I believe it was the Internet Movie Database, where someone said they couldn't get into the movie because her acting was so over the top. And it was over the top, but I think that's the way it was supposed to be. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, she made you hate her, and there was a couple eye roll moments, but that's how you were supposed to react to her character. And Brian, I agree. That was probably the only part of the movie that I thought was weird was when the general public in the movie, when they saw the brain walking down the street or hanging outside a Pizza Hut or whatever the hell it was, or when the Psycho Goreman blows up the kid. No one cared. Everybody, and it was it almost makes you want to move to Canada. Oh, I can go there and do whatever the fuck I want, and just no one seems to mind.
Well, and at the end, the little kid goes home. They're like, it's time for dinner. And he comes out and gets in the chair, and the parents are none the wiser. They're just sitting there eating dinner.
Yeah, they didn't pay a bit of attention. Was that Brooke Shields? Was his mom Brooke Shields? I couldn't find anything in the credits.
Was it?
It looked, if not, she could be Brooke Shields.
Mimi has control of Psycho Goreman. She's controlling him. Oh, he gets the TV. They give him a TV to watch. They want him to do some research.
And the magazines where he questions if he likes hunky boys or not.
Yep.
He's like, maybe I do. So he calls for his squad, his people, to come to the planet, kill Mimi and Luke and the family, and get the gem so that he can take over the universe. Then you kind of cut away to the other side, his opponents. I guess they're the good side.
It's like a planetary alliance led by the Templars. It looks like all these crazy creatures you would see at the cantina in Star Wars.
Yeah, it was almost like all the villains from Power Rangers were having a meeting. Two different factions from the Power Rangers movies were battling each other. So they decide that they're going to go to Earth and find Psycho Goreman and kill him. So that's when the Templars come in. And then his people show up, of course, and try to attack him. They've made a deal with the Templars to run the planet they're on like all five, they're like, yeah, we just take turns wearing the crown and running the planet so that it's fair to everybody.
We like it like this.
So they attack him and he can't fight back because Mimi is mad at him. And because he was going to have Mimi and Luke killed by those people or creatures, whatever they are. And that was some fun special effects too, like the big bucket metal thing with like all the skulls coming out of the top.
Yeah, his weapon was he just shot blood all over Psycho Goreman that seemed to do absolutely nothing, but it looked so cool. It didn't matter. A lot of creativity.
Yeah, the one thing was like a big plant that like threw stones at him. I couldn't figure that one out either.
But so during that fight, they get the better of him because Goreman says something about they saved his blood and must have coated their weapons with it because it was able to cut him. So he was wounded pretty bad and weakened. And then that's when the Templar chick shows up to try to finish the deal. And she turns the mom into like, she makes her drink this thing. She divides the family against each other. And then the mom turns the mom into a Templar Power Ranger lady looking thing.
So they attack Psycho Goreman. He lives. Yeah, they have this blood on their blades, so it is able to wound him. And he calls for the dad who's taking a shit.
That was hilarious too.
Yeah, he's like, "Where are you?"
I thought at the end of that interaction, his colon is cleansed. You know, just.
So the dad goes and picks up Psycho Goreman, is bringing him back so he can rest or whatever. The Templar lady's there. She has summoned someone from Earth, brought them to where they were, puts her in a cube and smashes her down, hand size. And then she smashes her on the table and wipes the blood on her face so she can transform into a human form. She comes to Earth. They're at the police station. The guys like talking about the police officer that got away is talking about how like he saw a Psycho Goreman, and the lady walks in. She's telling like the one cop what she's looking for. And they're like, are you an idiot? Did you not listen? He's like, no. So that's when she goes. And the dad pulls up with Psycho Goreman. And the mom's like, just get out of the truck. For once in your lazy fucking life, you don't have to do anything. Just get out of the truck. And he's like, no. So he drives off with Mimi and Psycho Goreman.
My favorite character in space there at the Planetary Alliance was like the brain inside the robot suit. He was just like a brain and eyes. And he's just kind of looking around and he doesn't talk, just his eyes are his reactionary stuff. It was hilarious. I loved it.
And the one part where she's squashing the woman, the guy sitting next to him, or the person, whatever it is, sitting next to him, like tries to cover his eyes so he can't see it. And the one eye's like looking out.
There was a lot of creativity. And I mean, when you start getting into checking out, the director and stuff, the writer-director, Steven Kostanski, if you look at his Internet Movie Database stuff, he's got makeup credits on Suicide Squad, Star Trek, ABCs of Death 2, Leprechaun Returns, Eli Roth the Clown, Hannibal the TV series. I mean, he's well-versed in special effects, and it shows in this movie. And his director credits are ABCs of Death 2, W is for Wish, Leprechaun Returns, VHS 94, the Veggie Masher episode, and the Day of the Dead TV series, which had a great production value, but a terrible story, in my opinion. I tried watching it. I couldn't get into it. So, I mean, he brought that diverse, just listing off those movies, that's a pretty diverse universe of movies there, all in the same genre, but add in Power Rangers, and this is what you got. R-rated, inventive special effects, death, blood, gore, Psycho Goreman.
So the Templars come, the head Templar comes, and Psycho Goreman's injured. She goes to fight him, and his final request as a warrior is that they face each other in battle, but not in battle, in Crazy Ball.
Crazy Ball.
So it's Luke and his mom and the Templar versus the dad, Mimi, and Psycho Goreman.
What were they called? The Suck Squad or the...
Yeah, I can't even remember.
The Sucky Team or something. They were like, can you explain the rules again? No, you should have listened the first time.
She's the only one that knows the rules.
Yeah.
I'm sure she probably changes them every time.
Well, and also during this time period, against the Psycho Goreman's wounded pretty badly from the battle of his squad who turned against him. And Psycho Goreman, to Mimi, is like, the only way I can get better is if you give me that gem. And she's reluctant to do it because she likes the control, I think, more than anything. But she also knows that Goreman will, kill her and anybody he comes across if he has that complete power. So her dad pulls her aside for that Full House moment. And he's like, one time in school, this guy asked me into his van to show him so he could show me his baseball card collection. And so you're thinking that he's immediately going to say, I shouldn't have done it. Don't listen to strangers. But no, it was the complete opposite. He was like, so I went in that van and that weird man showed me the best baseball card collection I've ever seen. I'm so happy I listened to that weirdo. Now go listen to your murderous weirdo and give him his jewel back. And you're just as a viewer like, what the fuck?
That's how Brian and I met.
In the van looking at baseball cards.
I thought it was something to do with a camping trip in Poison Ivy.
Oh, no, that was a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, things got real weird.
So anyway,
it got weird there. So I was like, let's go right in.
He's like, time to go. So eventually she gives Psycho Goreman his jewel back. She does say, you have to agree that you're not going to kill me and my family, to which he does. And he kind of has this story arc to a degree where he, through this dysfunctional family, discovers what love is. He had never encountered that emotion or feeling. And so by the end of it, he has like some sort of appreciation. He understands what love is. And he gets the jewel back. He kills the Templar, lets the family live, and then he portals right into a different part of the town and immediately just starts destroying fucking everything because he is the anti-hero. He, even though he has this new appreciation for some degree of humanity, he's still just going to do what he's going to do, and that is destroy and conquer.
And at the end, the news is like, breaking news, giant purple man with no pants is destroying everything.
Yeah. And that I thought you would appreciate, Brian. I thought you would appreciate that, Brian, because when they do that, the news coverage, he looks to me like I got a lot of Godzilla. He was standing there, looked like Godzilla standing over this town, just shooting rays out of his mouth or whatever. So I touched a little bit on the director and some of the stuff that he done real quick. The Nita is, I don't know if it's Josie Hannah. That's how you say her name, but she played Mimi. So she also had an uncredited role in Hulu's Books of Blood. I don't know if you guys saw that 3 years back. Books of Blood came out on Hulu. It was a Clive Barker thing, and it was kind of an anthology. I don't remember her in that. Obviously, she was uncredited, and she was probably pretty young because that was before Psycho Goreman, and she's still young in Psycho Goreman. You get a chance, go to Hulu and watch Books of Blood. It's a lot of fun. And also Owen Meyer, who plays her brother Luke, he is in Terrifier, and he was also in, I think, season 2 of Nosferatu. So, there's some experience between the director and the leads in this as far as the cast and crew. Despite that, no sequel yet, but there is a Kickstarter campaign. It exists for an anthology comic book series set during the movie's timeline. The comics are going to be done by Lethal Comics. The last time the Kickstarter was updated was February 14th. It currently has 978 backers with a current total of $72,279. So they're going to offer digital art, comic books, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. If you're interested, go check out the Kickstarter. They have different categories of monetary value with a lot of cool perks.
I want a sequel.
What would the sequel be? I mean, he's destroyed and dominated the entire universe,
Maybe Mimi somehow finds a power and they face off to be the ultimate ruler of the universe because she's an asshole.
I mean, as long as the sequel has the great dialogue and the interactions between like Psycho Goreman and the brother and sister there, which I think is what made this movie, and the sharp, witty writing, I'll pay to see it. I'll pay to see it a few times. Great stuff. Rotten Tomatoes has a 92% out of 83 reviews. That's like an average of 7.2 out of 10. So a lot of other people seem to agree. And if they do a sequel, hey, if the director winds up listening to this episode, actually, we'll see him at Motor City Legacy, so I'll just tell him, if you do a sequel, release some Happy Meal toys here in the States, man. I want one of those fucking Happy Meal toys. And a sequel has to have the cop with the gun attached to his hand because he's the funniest character. They got to bring him. He wound up getting killed. They got to bring him back.
Well, I wouldn't imagine it would be a McDonald's toy. Be like a Carl's Jr. maybe, Jack in the Box.
I love me some sourdough bacon, double bacon cheeseburger. Let's do it.
So what do you think? You want to rate the movie? Who wants to go first?
I want to hear Jason's. I'm curious because you usually lead off anyway. But yeah, I know this this typically isn't kind of like your wheelhouse, but it sounds like you enjoyed it, so I'm curious.
We had fun with it. I'm glad my daughter watched it with me. We get on a little kick of watching movies, so I mean, it kind of won for the podcast here. I'm going to give it, a 6 Psycho Goreman's unhinged jaws eating people whole out of 10. I'm glad I finally watched it. I mean, I was kind of made to watch it, but not really. I mean, because we are covering it, so it's like I wasn't threatened to be melted or anything. At least that I know of. There could be conversations behind the scenes, but it was a good first watch. I went into it thinking this was going to be dumb with some decent effects, but no, it's a pretty good story. Could have been a little bit shorter, even though it was only an hour and a half. But they had to fit a lot of crap into it. So I enjoyed it. Glad I watched it. I would watch part 2. I'll honestly watch it again, kind of see the stuff that I had missed before, because what you guys were talking about with the creatures and stuff. And
there's a lot of layers, a lot of little stuff, and a lot of little kind of quick, dry humor that, to continue to give Motor City Legacy a plug, since we're going to be there also, they are doing a screening of Psycho Goreman at Motor City Legacy. I think it's the Saturday. So they're 14th, 15th, 16th. So I think the 15th of the Saturday. And if I remember correctly, it's with the director or with the actress who played Mimi, or maybe, I don't know if it's all of them who are going to be there. Might be a tough one to not slip off to. We're going to be next to Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium, and our friend Brian Hoover is going to be around the corner. We've got some other vendor friends there. I might say, all right, guys, watch my table. I'm going to watch a fucking movie.
So what'd you rate it, Clint?
Man, it's tough. It is so tough because here we are, second watch for me, and I still laughed out loud. And again, repeating myself, I don't laugh at movies. I'm not a big comedy guy, and I forgot all about that cop, and I fucking lost it when he came on screen. Initially, I was going to go along. I was going to be right in par with Jason. I was going to go 6 or 7. To me, 5 is a middle of the road average movie that I'd probably watch again if it was on. 6 or 7's better. When you get into that 8, 9, 10 range, it's like, this is a spectacular movie. And as I'm watching it, I realized this might seem high, but I'm going to go 9 Power Ranger references out of 10. This movie is well written. It doesn't lag. Story is phenomenal. The effects were great. It's everything it's supposed to be. It celebrates the cheesiness, which makes it not cheesy. Yeah, I'm going 9 out of 10. I can't wait to take in some more Psycho. And I'm excited to meet the cast and crew.
I just had a package handed to me like after we did the Why Are We Poor? So that'll wait for another episode.
Ooh, a teaser, huh?
You guys always get shit delivered to you while we're recording. I never get a damn thing.
Right. I was expecting a record today, and then I'm like, wait, why is it handwritten if it's coming from Target?
So I'm right there with you, Clint. I love this movie. It's maybe the 3rd or 4th time I've watched it. I got up early this morning before everybody and threw it on and watched it again. I went 9 out of 10 also. 9 out of 10 frig offs. And if you don't like Psycho Goreman, you can frig off too.
You frig off.
Yeah. I have a 4-year-old, so this is probably not in her wheelhouse yet, but at some point I will put this on and I would imagine she will love it. I mean, it's fun. It's cheesy Power Rangers references, creatures, the Godzilla kind of stuff that she loves now. It's all just mixed together well with a little bit of LSD sprinkled in. Like I think we said that one time. It's like the Power Rangers on a LSD trip or like different along those lines. So what, 6, 9, and 9? So a good 7.5, and it's got 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, people seem to love this movie. It just didn't translate well to the box office or whatever. I think Shudder's done well with it on streaming. And I would imagine at some point down the road, this is going to be one of those movies that you'll see Arrow release or Shout Factory or, it'll get a cult following if it already hasn't. I mean, we will be able to tell when we go to Motor City Legacy how many people are interested in this film because we'll see the lines.
That's the point I was going to bring up is I think that for all the people who aren't aware of this movie, I think it's a testament to the movie that a lot of people aren't aware of it. It seems like the cast or crew are now getting ready to hit all these conventions. Because again, Legacy is going to be the first ever appearance of the guy who played Psycho Goreman. Mimi's done some stuff in Canada, but now this is her first one in the States. And they're all going to be in conventions after this. I've seen them book at conventions the rest of the year. So it's a testament right there. And then I also think that those appearances are going to bring more awareness to the film. And let's face it, bottom line, another reason to rate this movie and enjoy this movie is if you're a fan of Troma movies, and I've talked about in other past episodes about those, about like, say, Blades, a movie like Blades being remade, continuing that style of film. This isn't a remake of Blades, but this is a continuation of that style of film, and it's done real well. If you're a fan of Troma and you haven't heard of or seen Psycho Goreman, you're going to fucking love this movie. I guarantee it.
You know what I say? It's the heckin' best. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm the heckin' best! Asshole! Yeah! Nice Halloween costume! Frig all the rest! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Frig you! Your young monster, tell me what to do! Frig yourself!
I watched that video like 3 times this morning. Like, this is fucking great.
With all of the gore and the, what did I say, that suck my dick assholes and all that stuff, they still were aware enough to make the kids say frick and heck and think that they were like these big time swearing kids, because they were at that age group.
Oh, man. So now that we've rated the movie, let's hear from our podcast network, the PFPN, because they're the heckin' best. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if you don't listen to them, then you can just frick off.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
So now that we've heard from our podcast network, the PFPN, again, we don't have a question. So I have some ideas rolling around in this little brain about a new segment. So stay tuned. So we don't have a question. What are we up to? What are you up to, Jason? Anything?
As you guys are listening to this, like we've talked about before, Motor City Legacy, heading up to Detroit. I'm a big Detroit Lions fan, Michigan Wolverines fan. So I'm going to be in the Holy Land for a couple days. Horror and sports, which Clint doesn't care about. He thinks the Lions are a baseball team. So, I mean, I have some plans to get away from the convention and go to a couple little shops that I've seen up there, like sports related. And Clint mentioned going to the big house. So I'm excited for that.
That's actually going to be the worst part about you guys coming up. The only negative part is there's so much up that I want to like hang out and show you guys, and let's go do this, let's go see that. I want to go see Renfield comes out that week, and I thought it'd be fun for us to go see Renfield, but there's just not going to be any fucking time.
So I'll talk to you about this later, Clint, but my wife and I have a road trip coming up, and we talked about being up in Detroit again. So I'll mention it to you, and we can kind of hang out and plan something for maybe a day or two.
Yeah, that'd be fun if there wasn't a convention going on.
Yeah, it'll be in May, so hopefully you don't have a lot going on. We'll talk about it.
I've only got one show in May, and it's a one-day event, so.
Okay, perfect. And we're taking a whole week vacation, so yep, got that going on. The week after we get back is Record Store Day. We've talked a lot about records on here, so I mean, it's the annual April Record Store Day. Nothing big horror related. Dead by Daylight soundtrack is a horror release some people might be interested in, but I'm going to go for some of the other stuff. But that's kind of interesting if anybody here is interested in that. It's next week if you're listening to this, the first weekend of release. So go out and support your local record stores. Other than that, Glad Springs here. Nothing else really going on that I know of.
It's still snowing here.
Is it really?
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, you know what? No, actually Wednesday it did for a little bit, for like an hour, and then it went away. But Jason, I think doesn't your ma live up in the UP?
So she just got hit again.
And she just got blasted with snow, I saw. Yeah. She lives like way up there though.
We had tornadoes here. So it was dicey for Friday night. I actually got out of work early because our work closed. They're like, hey, we're closing by 3, get home.
I just put 2 and 2 together. Your ma lives kind of close to Canada. I wonder if she could go over there and get us some Psycho Goreman Happy Meals.
Damn it. All right. When it comes out again, I'll send her. Like, all right, here's gas money. We want 20 Happy Meals. We just want the sweet toys.
Brian, what do you got going on?
What do I got going on? Well, I'm going to Motor City Legacy with Jason. Meet you there, Clint. So you'll have your number 1 t-shirt seller in the house.
Like I said, someone's got to do it.
Some cool panels I want to check out. One was just announced with someone's going to be talking about Japanese horror, and that sounds fun. Tax Day's coming up. That's the most horrifying day in the United States for a lot of people. So if you don't have your taxes done, don't forget, or Uncle Sam will come after you. No, other than that, I got nothing. Clint and I had we're talking about taking a trip up to Michigan because Tiffany's never been to Michigan. And it's, I think, during another convention. So maybe I'll hit that up and hang out with Clint for the day while Tiffany and Finley go do some shopping and sightseeing.
I don't think you had said much to me directly, but I saw a couple comments you made. You're thinking about coming up to check out Nightmares, huh?
On that Saturday, yeah. Tiffany's already been doing her due diligence, finding out like what's around that area where we could stay and where they could go and shop, museums and playgrounds and stuff like that.
I know you guys like to hit little unique gift shops and stuff. There is a store in the area in proximity to where Motor City Nightmares is called Dancing Eye Gallery. And the lady who runs that, she hits all the horror conventions also, and she's bought some t-shirts off me. Real cool lady. Lots of fun, cool stuff at her store. That might be something Tiffany would like to check out. Jason, when you and Tanya come up, if you headed that way, that might be something too you might want to check out.
So Clint has to put up with us together and then us separately sometime this spring. Poor guy.
I mean, I'll just leave. I'll just take off. I'll be like, hey, Ted, smuggle me out of here. Same thing as you guys. So I really hope that our listeners aren't getting sick of hearing about us talking about Motor City Legacy. Rarely. So if you're listening and you don't know, we don't live near each other. Brian and Jason are roughly an hour, I think, away from each other where they live, the far west side of Illinois, getting into Iowa. I obviously live in Michigan. So we don't get a whole lot of chances to really hang out together in person. So when those opportunities come up, we're excited about it, And it also allows us the opportunity at these conventions like Motor City Legacy to represent the podcast in person, which I think is really important to network and just hang out and meet fans of our show who we are fans of also, and maybe create some new fans out of that. Motor City Legacy, by the time you hear this episode, it's going to be the weekend of, so we're going to be there having a good time, hopefully selling a bunch of stuff with inkmirrors.com, meeting the cast of Psycho Goreman. Hopefully I'm not in jail because, Jill Whitlow is going to be at Motor City Legacy. And guys, don't let me drink before I go meet her, okay? I don't even really drink anymore, so it probably won't be an issue, but I might need to for Liquid Courage because it's fucking Jill Whitlow. Whew. Yeah, that's about it. Doing that. And I'm also excited for you guys to meet Ted, to meet, Brian Hoover, to meet Chris from Decompositions, you know what I mean? Just a lot of cool people you guys have interacted with but haven't met in person. It's going to be fun.
You got to check out these gumball machines I've been hearing all about. Pictures look cool, but yeah, I got to check them out.
Ted's really, in my opinion, come leaps and bounds from where he started, and he started in a really good place. I think his creativity and I think his artistry, it's solid. He's putting out some really good stuff. Bring a truck so you got room to buy some stuff from Ted and take it home.
I'm not bringing much with me, just a poster, a scream bucket. That's about it. And then ourselves. So I got space. The money's going to be the issue.
Excited. I am excited to see you guys above and beyond anything else. But with that said, Brian, don't think otherwise. If I'm like, hey, don't forget my Bloody Valentine cassette. Hey, don't forget my boxes of toys and shirts. Hey, don't forget make sure it's smudge free. Don't forget your wrestle buddies to play with on the car ride up.
So now that you've heard what we're up to, don't forget to check out the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and go over to YouTube. Give us subscribe, comment. We'll be sure to comment back, and we'll see you next time. Or we won't see you. We'll talk to you next time. Or maybe we will see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, he said he opened the show with, I just bought a new chainsaw.
I don't think I could do the rest of the episode. I'm so worried about my sticker.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?